Hello and welcome. Today's date, that comes in out of January the 17th, 2020. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades of the like, within each his own risk and their own reward. Another video for today, going to look at Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin. In this video, I want to follow through within fantasy hockey, the Winnipeg Jets hockey game, but more particular, it's got a lot to do with risk-reward management, managing bankrolls, diversification, and really how I'm playing this game in a level sort of like Bitcoin, making sure I have, I have my Bitcoin, I have my precious metals, and in life, make sure I have my water source in this, make sure all the things that you need are in plan. And I'll talk about that and things at the end of the analysis of the charts, like normal when I do stuff like that. All right, so then let's get started. We're going to start with Dash against Bitcoin, and this is the so noticeable curvature here. We can see that there as the support and an uptrend going sideways, and then after that in a negative slope. There was these levels of support established on its first move higher before it even reached what its high happened to be. And we can see that it has come and retested it. It retested it in here. And this is, again, the single-hour chart. So a few hours ago is when it came into this point, piercing barely below this line, pretty much an exact hit, piercing well above this first level and well above this, well below this point. And of course, this was a higher low as well. But since that point, we had 3, 4 periods, looks like 3 or so. And now this little move in here has gotten below this level. So it really is showing the weakness in here. And this is telling me early indication just within this one period and how it's reacting on the support, that this is probably going to the next number, which is at the 10.057 handle. Let's take a look at this on the daily chart, and we can see that's where we're in line with the rising 18 average of highs, and what a spectacular move this has been. I also know, because it's such a big move, if this 18 doesn't even hold well, that there's going to be even longer time frames, like the 3-day weekly, anything that you can find a bit longer, anything that coincides within this key area. And here, 61.8, this, to me, I guess from the range of like 82 down to like 74, that would be the time frame I would look at on this move. But this is just an aggressively played out move, that this is a monstrous statement, either monster failed breakout or monster failed reversal, or monstrous successful reversal. And the probability for gains and big moves, especially now and as we move forward, is really big. And as I've been moving on within basically my life in the last few months, really a major change up in what I'm doing within that of a daily fantasy. Of course, not a change up at all as far as, we'll call it gambling, I guess you could say. I've been that way since, well, let's face it, since I was probably 12, if not even younger. Anyway, throwing that part aside, I knew that if things get hot on here, I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos, doing a lot of stuff on here, because this type of stuff I can do part-time. And I'm going to be talking in fantasy how really there's 2 ways to play my strategy, part-time and full-time. And I'm going full-time. But again, that would be a higher risk reward, and it's just more work. Okay. So it's just a little bit of a down move again, barely reaching up towards the 18 on this play. And you could end up getting one of those spots. I've seen this before. We have another green candle 3-day period where we get this big line that goes up. Oh, yeah, we came down to the level, then we rallied up within the period, got above, got to 22 or 25 and all that type of stuff. And well, we've already had, again, the statement of one, you get the statement when you leave the 18 significantly after a downtrend. That is reversal of trend. I mean, that you can write in a book kind of deal. And I guess if you write this in a book, when you have moves like this, I mean, this is like volume louder. If you normally have your volume setting at set 7, which is a normal move, like say 7 as your settings for how loud it is. And this is what a 7 would be, like a normal move higher. I talk about small, big, and little moves. Well, this is a bigger move. So now the volume might be 8, 9, 10, 11. And when that's the case, that means you can expect large, like down days after moves like this. Oh, it went up like 60% or 200%. Up. How's it done in the last few days since that big move up? Oh, it's lost 61%. Yeah, no, that's just the way it works. So then let's move on and work within Bitcoin Cash against Bitcoin. I'm going to be talking a lot now as we talk about this 50 handle, because that was what I talked about a lot earlier, most of last year, as that's pretty much, well, we're heading up to that level as it seems. But before we get to that point, as I've been stating, I mean, within all of this type of BS movement, and I'm not going to use any four-letter words, although sometimes I do, in this video, there's not much to do. You can get what you can pick at as far as the moves and any type of trading, but not much is going on. And in here, yeah, but no. Yes, because it's just what day are you going to be like, okay, I'm buying more, and how the ratios work. But what you're not getting in this is any type of what I'm going to be talking about in here are the counter trend moves. And what we should be getting it if we have major volatility moving forward, meaning it just doesn't keep going straight up and down and then sideways after that, and that's it. But there's just not much availability for doing the trades. And as I mentioned, as far as looking at ratio trades, and here I'm like, oh, 15% move on a cross, let's make a trade. Now I'm thinking, oh, 18, 24%, no. Oh, 40, 50% since my last trade. Yeah, let's take it. And if these moves get up here, that's exactly what's going to happen with it. I haven't traded any or sold any Bitcoin Cash today. I've sold a little bit on the way up. If it comes up here, I probably will, because I take coins like Bitcoin Cash, stuff against like Theta and Litecoin and a few others. And if the ratio is big enough, I'm going to sell and buy them back and forth. And when Bitcoin Cash goes up, I'd be selling that, of course, to buy the others. And yeah, when this was going on, it was, and this was going on, it was mainly buying BCH. Of course, this is 2018, so I should be referring mostly to this because that's when I've been ratio trading. So then, let's take a look at how we look at this right now. And this is just an obvious spot. Statements. I like how the 18 plays out. I've been using it pretty much the whole time I've been doing charts. Ever since I figured it out, I can't see me ever not using it as long as I'm doing this type of stuff. This attempt here getting above it was as the band was flattening. So it obviously failed pretty fast. It failed on the 18 lows in here, but what it did do was when it came down to this low, it retested that area I thought it would, breaking down below here, the next key support. Because first you're like, okay, we're going to hold, this is the support. Nope, that's not it. Now this is the next support. Yes, it was it here. And it managed, of course, from that move on to have a major long sideways consolidation. As I noted again, with the low volatility, it was like, what are you going to do here for trading? It wasn't much for me there. So another statement in here of trying to do it after really successfully neutralizing the situation more than anything. That's really all what it was accomplished after this downtrend. And a pretty big statement, retesting that area you thought it would go up to, so it goes to that key point. Now it's holding that key level where you came from, but failed move, fast move. This is that failed breakdown, because this is that must hold area, and it didn't. So it breaks down and it failed on that. So there we go. Now we see it within the 18. Not a surprise here that I'm not going to say, oh, let's definitely have a big move, but the fact that it had this from this point, I've seen this pattern so many times where you have a breakdown like this, and then all of this, you know what happens. Therefore, significant move, I'd have to say right around here is where a key level is. So it's just starting to become a big move more than anything. It's just a really good move. I mean, coming down here is not a large correction, but it's still noticeable and not a surprise. But this, just the most noticeable must hold. Whatever time frame I'm looking for, 18, wherever the 18 average is in this area is where the must hold happens to be for that type of level, which looks like this time frame on the triple day, as it is, because we can see how the 18 is crossing up above this on the daily term. We can see more in that failed breakdown. There we have it in here. There it is. Nice little sideways consolidation amongst the highs. And really, you can almost now be saying, okay, now that we're making a series of higher highs, higher lows, definition of trend, bull market. And if you didn't clarify bull market here, it was obvious it was here on this particular time frame. And then, I mean, you just because the pattern had this, two red candles like this after everything before, it's not going to be like, yep, 80, 90, 100%, it's going to be a big move like next period right coming forward. No, But the chances of but the fact that it was a bullish setup, was that true? Yes, it was. And it happened to have this bullish move. And from that point on, single red candle down, sideways consolidation, continuation of sideways, and then starting to rally higher last period. And this current day so far, continuation, it's already barely pierced these 2 days. And you really want to see it more clearly, like on the short term, like what's going on with these 4 days. I can see already just the fact that this high is higher than this, that it's broken by that level of resistance. But not only that, I can see it's done it really fast, and that it's probably something I would have to think would be something you take seriously. Now, I haven't looked at any of this 3 hour, 1 hour type of stuff. I have for these other shorter term charts in preparation, but yeah, this is pretty much a beautiful setup. So this is where we call weak chance of resistance, because of the fact we've been in a very good bull market here, all of these series of higher lows and highs, and from this amazing higher high, this amazing correctionary higher low, because of the big move, it didn't even come back to where it came from, although it did correct within this period's 18 magnificently, and then magnificently even more. It showed like 4 periods of saying, hey, it looks like it might take off. It was saying this period, green period, it was good. It was down red here, no big deal. It's still holding as long as we hold this area. It did. Oh, it's lifting off. Oh, it's exiting. Oh, look at that. There's your move. And then it's just starting to get late for the big gains. Maybe it continues to go higher from here, but and a lot of times you might say it should, in that, well, we've already gotten past this high. We are at risk of this failed breakout, but I'm saying there's a good chance if this is going to keep going, likely, even if you buy now, maybe the worst case scenario is it comes down here and it's just going to go back up anyway, at least for another decent leg higher. When you're talking decent leg higher, I mean keywords, at least one. And then how decent can it be? Because the possibilities for these big situations is really big. We'll go back to the shorter term, but when we take a look at this on the triple day, it was last year I kept on talking about this situation in here where we had this little breakout above, holding. If this thing can get above, that's just a magnificent situation. It never did. And now it's at the stage of just testing to get back to this area and really trying to hold some sort of 61.8% retracement from whatever. Well, with this low, which would be at around the 2581 handle, and to whatever this high happens to be. An exponential 61.8% retracement is going to be very, very crucial. At least for now, if this is as high it gets, holding this for sure. If it gets up to here, technically it could still be higher low coming down there. I'd be really, if not so happy, but we'll see what happens kind of thinking if it does something like this. But when it does something like take a move up here, which to me, this is what the statement is as it's moving higher. So there's still a decent amount of like 30-40% up move possibility just to this previous point. That a lot of retracements, what I would like to see ideally happen is for it not to go up yet there, but maybe consolidate in this area for maybe 3 to 5, 6 periods, and then make a move up here, and then come back to what will be the nows where we came from, meaning we do this, go up, come back, and do that. That'd be a little more easy on a retracement like that. Of course, ratio trading, I like the bigger volatile moves because then I can get 40-60% moves, so I kind of almost would rather this, but that's all yada yada stuff. All right, let's go continue on within the short term 1 hour chart. This is where it gets very, very interesting to me, because this is the example of here we have not coming back to where we came from. We had this little area of support within this little wedge that it did retest, and it held it magnificently on this time frame as well. Trying to attempt above here, not so much. This had a good setup. You had to endure this. So if you're trying to play short-term game, trying to make in this, and you get a little panicky here, well, that's just what happens, I suppose. But this sell-off did not. It kept a good trend going. You had this move in here, and then when you see this, you broke this resistance. So short-term, you want to hold this. That's exactly what it did, and it did so coinciding with the 18. Then there's the excitation of the 18 average breaking this little level. So now we're looking to get to here. And that's exactly what it did in here. And it consolidated this point for a few periods. And then a couple periods ago, we have this move, 1900 hours, fantastic break, clear consensus break. Now the must-hold area for this area, time frame is around in here where I'm drawing all these lines. And I draw a lot on here, but it makes it easier, I think. And then something like that would be bullish. But how we react from here, we can go sideways. This thing could just keep on going where we are now because we're in such a beautiful uptrend. And we do have very good target levels to get past that 50 into the 60 handle on the near term, of course. And for Bitcoin, if there's a part of trading on the holding, waiting, controlling your risks based on the situation. And for the better part of a lot of this last decade last year, when we talk first about precious metals, I'm not going to go over those charts, but how much time do I have to buy and how long do you think I'll still have relatively decent cheap prices? And the answer from a lot of that last part up until into the second half of the year for precious metals is, look, we've got a decent amount of time. There's no worries as of now for any quick rises up where we don't have much time left. Well, we're at the stage where Bitcoin, to me, I don't know how much time we have. This thing is just a phenomenal setup. And I say that because of previous times. Back in here, the talk for me was this thing is at the area where it should stop going down from this move. Either cryptos are going to work or they're not. That's how it's going to be. And they're so cheap. And obviously, if it goes up, they're going to be much more expensive, but they'll still be cheap. But as a bull market comes in, you only got so much time before it's no longer cheap anymore. Meaning, oh, it's cheap here, and it's still cheap here. Oh, it's still cheap. No, it's not cheap there. And that's the whole point of where I'm getting at there. Because at a bull market stage, you go through retracement, new highs, and, well, quite frankly, at 8,900, it's still relatively cheap, and even at 12,000, but it's not as cheap at 16,000. It's not as cheap at 38. That's the real basic numbers towards it. How long it takes to get to those key interval numbers? Well, probably not as long as it would back in here, and we'll end up, of course, seeing how it goes. Now, in this situation here, when you're thinking about buying, it's been such a high uptrend. You want to see if it's settled in, maybe. Well, there's a bit of settling here. There's been a bit of settling here, and until it's as long as it's in this range under 12,000, the prices to me are going to get not the cheapest, but I don't know how long they'll remain in such moving forward. Of course, this is a major key resistance moving forward, making that pattern of major key high or low, filling what was a monstrous amount of empty space, even a little more than what you can see from this low, but even to that point, just filling a little bit of it in here. And now a good majority of this empty space from this low to this high, and not as much from this high to this low, and breaking this high in here, the setup for everything in that play. I know I say this over and over lately within it, but it is now a good setup. And I haven't been able to say that too much before, of course. Okay. So that'll be it within cryptocurrencies. I'm going to talk a little bit about all that stuff I'm talking about, fantasy, hockey, risk-reward management, even sports betting, because earlier today I came out and said I really like the Winnipeg Jets. And I watched the first period of the game between Winnipeg and Tampa. Tampa dominated them, outscoring them 3-0. Nice 2-0 goal by Kucherov from Stamkos as well. Yeah, I really liked Winnipeg. They trailed 3-0. And right now, I mean, I'm already like 20 minutes in this video. It took me like 4 or 5 minutes just to get my microphone to work, we'll say. Not 3 minutes. Normally it takes 20 seconds. And just a bunch of other things to set this video up. And the intermission's over. We're probably on late in the second period by now. I'll watch the third. And when I talk about like diversification, everyday kind of life stuff like Bitcoin and things, like you don't have Bitcoin, there's just a lot of people that are just going to suffer from not getting into it. And some of them have no pull or clue even about it and really thought, I didn't even thought about it. But those who do think about it and don't get into it, especially them, it's going to be an interesting situation if you don't get in it and the prices go way up. And yet you notice your everyday, like your paychecks, they don't buy as much as they used to. And it's harder to have your payments and stuff like that, where those who do have those same everyday lives in their cryptos, and then cryptos go up with that stuff, it's like, oh, geez, look how much this now cost it. And when I used to go to this gas station or whatever to buy whatever essentials that I need, it used to be, say, $100. Now it's $137. My paycheck really didn't change too much. It was the same as it was 6 weeks ago, and it's barely higher than it was 12 months ago or 16 months ago. And that's just the way it's going to be for a lot of it. And when you got those cryptos and such, then, okay, well, maybe I'll take some of it to deflation, really, because, okay, that's 35% more on my bill here. And, well, oh, geez, cryptos are crushing that number. And that's the type of way as I look at it as. Anyway, I mentioned about I probably will. I'm thinking about even doing almost 3 separate books. And I mean, you talk about 3 major different cost prices that I would write these at, and even lengths of the books for that. One would be general fantasy and how to take advantage of rewards on how way DraftKings is set up. Really, how to just play very part-time, but consistently, and getting a lot back from what you spend, at least based on what this year's rewards were giving you. And this other stuff, but stuff that doesn't hurt my flow. Sorry for that loud text sound, because it was right beside the microphone. I might get an update on hockey. No, I don't. Anyway, so within what I'd be writing about, just the whole basics of it, and the game I play against the field. I already know how many really good players play the game I do. There's about 5 or 6 of us. One of which is one of my friends who is he's almost as good as me now, which is pretty damn cool. And there isn't too many. And the more good players are in the game, like poker, well, the less profit there is, and the more profit there is within the game. So I'm not too enthusiastic to share this information to a lot of people. Yet I realize to be as good as me, you need to put a little bit of time into it. And it's a lot of work, actually. I didn't think it would be in such, as it's just one hockey game a day, and tomorrow there's 2, which is going to make it a little more work, and that's all fine and dandy. But when you have extra work, you get extra results. So I could write one book on how to win it on an advanced level. And for tonight, that would have meant having to do extra work at, the game started at 8 p.m. So between 7:38 is when the information was posted that you would have needed, which was what today's lineups were, which were different from what you would have expected. You would have had to do adjustments. And I did on mine. So I also mentioned about diversification, and this is why I brought the subject up, because what I do is I bet on hockey players and really teams. And I thought about coming and just very aggressively betting on just Winnipeg. But when I do that, I usually lose. I can't say that, but I like to have diversification, so I have many, there's a good chance that I have the highest chances I have of winning on the night. And I usually win 65% of the time, or night, so that there is. So anyway, I'm looking for, if Tampa wins, I'm fine. I want as many Tampa possible spots that work. And if Winnipeg wins, I'm fine. That kind of deal. Because that's just playing your grounds out for diversification. Sort of like if Bitcoin works, precious metals work. Hey, if fiat currency works. I don't think it will, but in case it does, have some yada yada. And that's the type of way that I play. So in such, the adjustments that I made worked out to the point where I could have a chance of winning big in the this game. Of course, if Winnipeg comes back, that's just going to hurt me now. But that's all variance. I could literally play, there's, with baseball, and I'm going to try that out when the season starts into March, and I'm very confident in that. That's 340 to 350 nights a year. 350 nights a year. There's only a few breaks. One coming up again, the All-Star break for NHL, where every day there's either baseball or hockey, and there's a lot of profit where 5-6 figures is most certainly available. And I could, with all the different things that I'm learning and things that you need to do to be good, it would be a decent amount of work. So, and then if I were to publish this, that means you're competing against me next year, not only in hockey, but in baseball. So I'd probably charge somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 for that particular book, which would be the most expensive one. And then I would presume that the ROI would be 70 to 80%, 60, 90%. It's going to be sick when you get really good at it, which is, I mean, that's just way too phenomenal, but math can support that. If I were to teach you on a basic level how to do it, that means you'd probably only be doing 20, 30%. You would have wrong lines in for tonight, and you could be playing somebody who doesn't have skates or a stick tonight. As part of the advanced stuff is check to see if everyone's playing. One guy tonight, there was 18 players and a goalie plays. Of the 18 skaters, I assumed were playing for Tampa, or of the 36 skaters for both teams, well, 35 of them were playing with somebody else. Patrick Maroon, who I didn't think would play, was playing for Tampa Bay. So just to know this information, how to adjust type of stuff. If you don't do that kind of stuff, you won't do as good. And also too, I realized that you gotta, the better you are at so many different levels, we'll put it this way. Putting you in, if you were to compete with, say, me, maybe I crush you, maybe you can crush me in the stats because I'm damn good at it. It's like poker. We both use strategies, and now who's going to use it more effectively than the other? And those types of games who spend a lot of just the time to go through the strategies that you need to give yourself the edges that you have. Understand what the edges are and why they're real. I understand my edge. So in a situation like that, on how to win those games on the basic baseball and hockey level, I'd probably be looking at about 1 to 200 for information upon that. And then the basic one, which to me is, this information doesn't hurt me. It doesn't compete with me. It's almost like for example, when I come out here and I talk about, I think this market's going to go up or down, the way I look at it is, as far as the pure numbers are concerned, and I'm going to assume that like I am, you're a nobody player, meaning especially on Bitcoin, where what you do it's not going to change the market really at all. Let's just face it. You buy this, you sell that. That's going to do what it's not going to change anything moving forward. I presume that's the case with pretty much every market, especially the bigger ones I talk about. So it's not going to make any difference whether I say anything. If I say, I think the Jets are going to be good on the bets, and I'm betting, and if I got my bets in, it doesn't matter if you move the line or not. I'm done betting. I don't care. So it makes no difference on that spot there either. And that's why it's a little bit different on situations like that. Well, another long video, but I planned it to be such, and I hope you can get a lot of information from this. But yeah, from the next book, I'd probably go like $10, $15, $20 on it, because I can write a little chapter where if you invest the microscopic of stakes, we're talking like $100, and you probably won't even need that much. Even less than that is all you need. Just keep putting $20 in when you need it, kind of deal. And even then, $10 to $5 when you need it, based on this. Like literally betting like a year, like every sport, like 10, 20, 30 cents a day. Hockey, basketball, football, golf, even tennis. Although golf, it's $1 a day. Then you can get back several hundreds of dollars in free games. Several hundreds of dollars back by betting dimes per day, close to 365 days a year. That's how it is set up on it. So I'd explain how you would do that. Then if you put more stakes into it, how you could even get more, like even over, how you can get basically into 4 figures of rewards back, because the rake is so high on there. And then when I look at the rake back, it actually is not that bad. It's actually pretty good for what I'm looking for, because I believe in rake. Daniel Negreanu has talked about high rake in poker. I don't believe in high rake, and I don't believe in microscopic rake. Meaning, in this game in here, they still have like spots where they have 1,189 players, and say it's $1 or something. Say it's $1 game. The prize pool would be $1,000, which means they're grabbing the 189, or it's like 18.9%, something like that. 19% rake, which to me is wrong. That's too high. Well, I've already figured I can crush that percentage because I'm winning at 60-70% without the rake as it is anyway. So as if it would matter if I can beat it. I'll play it. Of course, when I started playing, I didn't even know how good breakback would be and how it would work and how you'd get it. At least in for all the sports. Now I do. And in that, it gets to the point where you spend like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 800 in these games. You get back all of it. Like, you get to the point where you don't even have rake anymore if you do it right, or it's barely much at all. And it's done creatively well too, because I noticed this in hockey, that when you get to the stage where they give you all these great rewards, I mentioned like hundreds of dollars they'll give you, and now you're starting to get them, and you don't get them anymore. And that's happening to me in hockey. I can't get much for playing hockey anymore. I've gotten $200 free playing the games, $220, $230, and that's it. I'm not going to get any more. Not till the playoffs. And they do that to the point where, yeah, you can get great back, but if you keep on playing large stakes, you're going to have no choice. If you're going to be playing like 5, 6 figures a year, you have no choice but to pay on the rake, which is pretty creatively done, to say the least. So I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, man, they're kind of geniuses in how they got it set up, because I can see how it could work on their end on so many different advanced levels. But I also talk about different things like how to make a hockey lineup, or just in football lineups. I'm having an amazing fun time with the football playoffs right now, and I'm looking forward to the weekend, win or lose, because I don't care if I lose based on how my bankroll is. It's all from profits anyway. It wouldn't be too fun to realize I don't got that large of a Super Bowl stake. Right now I'm only in for $90, and I want to be in for several hundreds, if not 1,000 would be crazy if I do that good this weekend. Because everything I play is based on my winnings of how I do on the 2 games. And in those 2 games, I'm playing several hundreds of tournaments, from 10 cents, 25 cents, up to $1 per tournament, to win a $10 ticket. And I've already won 9 of them. I want to win dozens, and if not, max I can win is $150, which means if I won like $180, they'd pay me like we'll say free other tickets, like a few hundred whatever dollars. And that would be just fun to do. And the chances of whatever type of possibilities is just cool to do, to be able to play it, to want to play those types of games. Risk reward management. This is why I'm playing the reward section. I'm able to play very aggressively, more than I thought I'd be able to, because of my risk reward management. To put those 2 words together, it's not just risk management. That's a major part of it as well. But the reward management, to me, is also, if not could be equally more important, but at least just as important as well. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.